We were facing bankruptcy. I had put my house and a lot of my other investments to the business. So we sat and said, we are naked, we are shattered, we are nowhere to go. I realized that content would be the new cocaine. And this drug would be needed any next day, lot more than that what you consumed yesterday. Imagine those clients who've seen a Ganguly, Dravid. They want David Coulthard to come. They want Simon Sinek, a James Clear to come into India. And these are big deals. On differently abled artists, we decided not to have any margin altogether. As long as you're very clear about your purposes, magic happens.
Great website, Nishant, Engage for More. Yeah, I think for people who don't know about Engage for More, I think it's a great website if you want to book any celebrity for anything, right? So none of these celebrities obviously do it for free. They charge money, which means you make a lot of money. But what is the purpose? My question to is pointed. Beyond just making money, how could this be more about making a positive impact on society?
Before I seek my cheering, I would like everyone to cheer for all the students. I've never seen such patient students. It's been a marathon of an event. You don't sit in a movie for more than an hour and there's a bio break. Guys, amazing. And patience can really take you a lot of distance. So this is a good sign. So coming to how, what is our purpose and what kind of impact we do. So I'll be kind of giving a slightly broader answer. But for the entertainment quotient of this moment, I will try to bring a story. Call my response as dope.
Okay.
So there is no E, but D-O-P. Yeah. So it's discovery of purpose and how it happened. Because you really don't have a formula, as in when, how, where, in what extent, how many times. It's like love. You really don't know. Like Saif Ali Khan says, you may have love multiple times, correct? For me, it has happened twice. I'll quickly do a pre-COVID narrative of what we were doing, what happened to us in COVID, and how this concept called purpose came and really got us back in action. So before COVID, I had multiple businesses under brand Engage for More. We were doing more of employee engagement. We had TV shows, event production, corporate activation. We had invested in technology, wall graphics, building radio channels. It sounded sexy. But if I had to really give you a parallel of how we were operating like an octopus. And if 8 legs could make you run fast, octopus would have been the fastest alive being. But the fact is, an octopus is not, correct? So we were in delusion. We were operating, thinking that these businesses could operate as long as it's the same client. It doesn't work like this. Our purpose at that point in time was to make much more engaged workforce, happier workplaces. I don't come from HR, I don't come from research around engagement, etc. So if I could say it was a bit fake, bit frivolous, and it was not really deep. And we were caught. When COVID happened, imagine a large workforce, 5 offices, we were shut, and we were facing bankruptcy. I had put my house and a lot of my other investments to the business, and the list of things that I had to sell to sustain included my house, my bike, my wedding ring. And there was a phase of a year wherein I had to sell something to buy something. And this is where the hero comes, purpose. 20 initial months to 21st. What really happened is while I was dealing with GST, tax terrorism, to so many different challenges that you can imagine, correct? You're not able to pay up salaries, and you're dealing with so much of things that you're not able to really do a graceful job. We did certain transactions, and I had invested into engageformore.com amongst the 3 different tech platforms. And 80% of revenue, while it was a very humble revenue, came from selling artists. And it had some of these names that you spoke about. A couple of things happened. A, it was cheap. B, people ready to pay advances. So the same investment that was not working well for us, because initially we would get traffic coming in, they would talk to us, but they would not pay advances. And this 1 year wherein we managed to do a decent volume of transactions. And it included comedy and motivation in particular, not music as much. Music is tough to do online. You really don't feel it, when you do it online. But I think the world wanted to laugh and world wanted to get inspiration. And those content streams really gave us confidence. And we kind of felt one particular thing is that content would be the new cocaine. And this drug would be needed any next day a lot more than that what you consumed yesterday. Your threshold of excitement is just going high. One. Two, we are trying to figure out ये हुआ कैसे, artist कैसे बिक गए और हमने कैसे बेच दिए. How the hell it happened? So I had a lot of time, correct? So I could introspect, and it was kind of a time machine reflecting my own journey, wherein my college 4 years came in. I was largely on stage, managing my culture group, being on the festivals, performing with my stand-up act, to choreography, to kind of stuff that you do in colleges, correct? And I could not pursue it. While I was 70% of the time, and always my attendance would be short, I would be reaching out to faculty to say, please, kuch grace de dijiye. And this was like a repeat show. I realized that having been on stage myself, I could possibly feel what it means to think of an art, performing art, commercial value, engagement, entertainment. That vocabulary was kind of working well for us because we could feel it very organically. Secondly, there was this team that was very, very loyal to us, a very small fraction of what we originally had. They had also gained experience around 10 plus years and could do the same. So we sat and said, we are naked, we are shattered, we are nowhere to go. And it was very humble situation, and said, whatever we thought of we were doing is not going to work. What do we do next? And we spoke to certain artists whom we had booked for events. And it was surprising that the biggest of the names that you spoke about in the introduction, to the ones who had just deliberated or just started, were thinking of livelihood, whether it's a big, making a better brand, whether getting the right gigs, whether the right context, etc. We realized that every single artist is thinking of their livelihood. So Engage for More decided in April 2021 that we would exist to enhance the livelihood of performing artists. And it is easier to sell the established one, so that's what we continue to do. And but it's a murky business. It's a very clumsy business. It's a multiple supply chain. There is this client who wants to do event. There is an artist in between. There is manager who could be busy, not busy, or pretending to be busy, very bored with the same artist. Or there are event companies. I was an event company for a decade. Artist discovery has been very clumsy. It's very dirty. At times, it's 4 lakh rupee artists get quoted amount 10. And the ratios could be crazy. And if the artist is not easy to discover, it can be very difficult to discover, find the right price, and the speed is quite difficult. So I said, hey, you know what? Let's take this up. This is working well for us. If something has worked for us in the most difficult times, it should be easier as we take this path with patience. And coincidentally, the book by Simon Sinek that says, start with why, and the second book that talks about infinite games gives you a lot of understanding on, stay put, be there, things will happen. So as it happens, we decided to take this path, and we asked team who would like to be in the same ship and continue. Luckily, every single person said, we are enjoying this, and this looks like fun, and this will be big. So we published rates. Nobody had published rates for artists. This was the most courageous part to be done. A lot of artists also said, why are you publishing rates? And we had to make them understand why it is better for a quick closure on the deals. If you're not getting deals, it's fine because they would have not respected what you're otherwise demanding, etc., etc. We decided we will not make more than X percentage of margin. On differently abled artists, we decided not to have any margin altogether. And we had a lot of time, a lot of inciting. So, they would start writing about, an artist on Quora, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Now, in fact, there's a blog coming, there's a podcast we're putting together called Gobar Good, talking about celebrating good and not so good things in life through the eyes of artists. And there could be speakers, comedian, musicians, theater artists, etc. We pursued this, and we decided that we would commit to this for at least 3 years. We said we would be seeking this as a graduate, be very honest to this purpose. Is that we will not call ourselves masters, not even to our clients. And we remain the bachelor of this subject for 3 years at least. So we had to commit to this part. Cut to this, now we are 3 years plus being graduate into this. We still call ourselves that we are practitioners. We are growing as Center of Excellence in Comedy. We are hiring people who would have possibly been on stage or consuming a lot of content on comedy. So we have people who can crack jokes selling comedy. We have people who have inspiring stories talking about, speaking. People who have been in their school, college days being on stage and bands, talking about music. It's just making so much of fun. So very high quality students have trusted us, joining us, and believing in what we're doing. Now we rank number 1 in Google. We've been growing more than 300% year on year, and we are gearing up for next round of funding. And while initially I thought, because I was in business of events and also on the brand side, I never looked upon artists, guys, especially the guys who book artists. It's a little slimy business, like I said. But as you go deep in a subject, go very deep and really embrace it with your heart and soul, magic happens. The kind of calls that we get from Marine Drive is that हमारे दादाजी गुजर गए थे, इनका पाठ है, हमें गौड़ गोपाल जी चाहिए, 15-20 लाख कोई बड़ी बात नहीं. भोपाल से लेडी कॉल्स सेइंग एक रंगीला कॉमेडियन चाहिए किट्टी पार्टी के लिए, 2 लाख है मेरे पास. मेलबर्न से कॉल आता है, मोटिवेशन कॉन्सर्ट करना है इंडियन डायस्पोरा के लिए. Suddenly we are realizing it is not just events or just corporate events. It's colleges, it's personal events, it's Indian diaspora, wanting Indian faces to come during Durga Puja to 26 January, 15 August. And now also there are Indian clients who are seeking content. Imagine those clients who've seen a Ganguly, Dravid. They want David Coulthard to come. They want Simon Sinek, a James Clear to come into India. And these are big deals. And we are sitting on a steroid of economic growth. The kind of content hunger is also with a lot of arrogance. ये सब तो हो गया है, कुछ नया दिखाओ. So where I'm sitting today is actually with a lot of gratitude, lot of belief on subject called purpose. Purpose saved me, purpose saved my brand, purpose saved my grace. And coincidentally, just 15 days ago, I bought my house, new house, and that to a very proud location. So I would not be, marketing that location, but it's within years. So, when you become a student of a purpose, it's magical. So 2-3 things I would like to just summarize from the dope, that I put together is, A, purpose discovery won't happen too often. Whenever you get it, be very sincere, stay put, be there. It takes its time, but nothing is, small. As you go deep, it's like digging, petroleum from the planet. You go with very sharp barrels, but underneath is huge amount of petroleum. And you have Indian behemoth talking about the growth that they've put together. And no purpose is small. No purpose is small. You may not look upon, like how gentlemen spoke about, real estate being a murky business. And a couple of other discussions we had, like how, Harvinder, you spoke about being very committed to your pricing. So Paddy has shared some amazing, case studies about how you went about hiring him versus 3 different coaches. As long as you're very clear about your purposes, magic happens. Rajasthan Royal is a classic case. And so much more happening over here. So be very honest, be very, how should I say, observant, embrace it, love it, and magic will happen. So all the very best. And I hope as a tailender, I was able to do a justice to this moment. Thank you so much, ma'am. Amazing arrangements and very vibrant campus. Best wishes.
As it said, the last for the best.